So,
Rochelle, can you teach me to sing?
Can you teach me to sing? Roche.
Hey, it's your girl Empress Zingha. What's going on? Today I am very excited to sit with this girl, phenomenal singer, Roche. What's going on?
What's going on? I hear that's what's going on.
Yes, man. I know we have a lot to get through today because we always talk off camera about a plethora of different things dealing with the industry. But most of the time, people will see you doing background vocals, whether it's live performance or if it is just like in studio sessions or something like that. But tell us a little bit about Roche and who you are and what you've accomplished so far.
Well, Roche is a singer. Rochelle is an artist. Rochelle is a person that loves to bring joy to people, to people's songs, to situations, to sessions, to rehearsals. Rochelle loves to bring a vibe. I always tell people Rochelle is a vibe. I love to see people's faces when they're satisfied with my work, what I've done for their songs. And Rochelle loves to travel. Guarantee you're going to get 100% Rochelle every time. Rochelle is honest. Rochelle is a joyous person. Rochelle loves to tell people the truth, you know. Rochelle loves to give away. Rochelle loves to do charity. Rochelle is a vibe. Yeah, Rochelle is a vibe.
So you're being extremely humble, but I know that you put out so much work, so much work. But what is like the soul for a background vocalist? What is it that you guys do? What is it that you put forward to add to a project?
As a backing vocalist, well, first things first, I need to mention Indra, Indra Drani, as everyone knows her. I learned a lot from Indra. Well, obviously, I learned a lot of my work ethic and everything from Indra, but I also watched the way she would hang around people. The way she would commit to her work, and I think I took that with me, and now, when I'm finished doing a person's song, an artist's song, and they come to the studio, whether they come after the session is finished or they call me, and when I hear, yo, Roshi, yo, like I know here what you do to my song, and it's like, yes, mission accomplished. Or if I'm in the studio and the artist is there, and when I come out of the booth, and then I see this smile, their smile all over the eyes and all kind of thing, I'm like, yes. So I think my biggest takeaway is just to see the joy, just to see how happy they are, just to hear them say, oh gosh, I finally get a song, my song sound decent, my song sound good, you know? And that brings me so much joy. Like sometimes I get goosebumps, sometimes I get teary-eyed, because I really love to see people happy with their work, happy with what they produce, happy with their creativity, what they came up with. I love to see them being happy with just being one with what they've accomplished, you know?
Yeah, we can say that you are the complement to the music, but you're also a compliment to the artist, because you go a step further into pushing into yourself, into the work that they do. And I guess for me, I would like to know, like, when was the first time you said, you know what, I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to be a musician? Because when we first started to say we're going to be an artist, it's be good when you're 16, but then when the bills hit you, it's be like, maybe we should go do something else. Why have you kept doing what you've been doing for so long?
One, because I love it. I always tell people, don't just go into something for the money. Because Gary, trust me, when I first started out with the band, I remember we were working with formerly known as Next 6, Tuma Hill, when I was with Next 6. I remember we were working, I'm not going to call the amount of money that we were working for, but that bill, that's something bill, that had to buy groceries, because at this time I wasn't living home. I had left home already, and I was living by another relative, so I had to pull my weight. And that bill had to buy groceries, had to help with a certain bill in the house. So by the time I get home and feel fussy with my bill, it's gone, you know? So I always tell people, don't get into it for money. When you really love something, man, you find so many different reasons to continue. And other people don't see it, you know? And I was fortunate to be surrounded by a supportive unit that if I couldn't afford something to eat, I couldn't afford to go to the grocery store, somebody can pull something and give me something, you know? But again, when you have a love for something, a deep love for something, you find ways to make it work.
As an international artist and going to these different countries, what were some of the things that you've learned from flying around?
Culture and appreciating culture and what culture is and what culture isn't. You know?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I appreciate my culture so much. Whenever I come back from contracts, one of my favorite things to do is to just drive all over Barbados. Like driving through Bass's Road and seeing people frying fish at minutes to 2 in the morning. Yeah. That is culture. Why not do a video where you show that kind of stuff, show that we can be going at the gas station at minutes to stupid o'clock in the morning to buy a hot dog, getting up on mornings, minutes to 6, going on the beach, watching men fish. When I was in Bora Bora and when I was in Djibouti, even though the conditions weren't ideal in Djibouti, those people were so proud. They were so proud of their culture. They were so proud of what they believe in. They were so proud in the way they live, in what they eat. Yeah. You know, Bora Bora, the same thing. Small, minute things are considered to be part of their culture. They don't leave anything out. Wow. You know, whereas in Barbados, our culture is the sea, the beach, and going to the beach and... What else do they sell? The beach, yeah? First things first, I think in order for you to really sell your country, I think you need to go out of your country and see what your country is offering that other countries aren't. Yeah. And that's going to make a drastic difference. The biggest takeaway from traveling would be the culture and the way they respect artists, respect people bringing value to the resorts that I would work at. Yeah. You know, whereas here in Barbados, you don't get that so much. You don't get the respect that you deserve. You don't get the money you deserve. You don't get the attention that you deserve. You know, so whenever I leave my contracts and I come back to Barbados, it's a bittersweet feeling because I know what I'm coming back to in a good way and in a bad way.
Can you be more specific in terms of the differences between international work and national work here in Barbados?
Internationally, when we work overseas, they value us so much because we help people spend money at the bar. We help people buy more drinks, buy more food, and to them, they see us as an asset. They see us as something so valuable to what they bring. They put us on a pedestal almost. Okay. And it's not that we're better than anyone else. They see our value. Okay. You know, whereas here you have to be calling around for so many different things. You arrive at a venue. You don't have half of the things that you put on a rider.
And a rider is just the things that you would like to have
basic
in your
things. Exactly, you know.
Water. Things to wipe your face, thing like napkins, something. But people ask for fruit. Some people like a particular type of drink for their voice. It's just something to make you feel comfortable and get you in a frame or a mindset before you actually go and perform.
Exactly. You know how many times we had to tell like management, it's okay. We don't need anything else. It's really okay. You guys are doing so much, almost too much. You know, it's very refreshing, but it's also very bittersweet because I know that when I leave here, I have to go back and go and perform for someone that does not respect me, and then I have to run them down for my money for weeks. Wow. You know, overseas, they always talk about money first. They always talk. When I go to my resorts, if we have to go over our time, we don't go over our time unless they come and say, okay, so we're gonna offer you this and such a money for you to go over your time. Whereas here, if they want you to play longer, they don't ask none of that. It's like you're going to do what they want you to do, you know? Okay. And then we deal with business after. That's not the case. And so many things are different here in Barbados and as opposed to overseas and dealing with business etiquette. Such a major difference. Such a major difference in the way they handle your money, the way that they speak to you. They speak to you. They don't talk down on you. And they do that a lot here. And a lot of artists don't like to speak about it. Because it's money, you know, and a lot of people don't want to lose their money, and I understand that. I do. So I'm not down on anyone that, you know, people speak about, oh, well, you know that so and so offering a certain set of money for a gig, but so and so gonna get offered less, and they're gonna take it. Yeah. You know, and some instances I understand both sides of the table. You know, I understand a guy getting upset because, you know. You know that so-and-so offering this sort of money, we play for this amount of money, and you still come in and charging less. Yeah. But I do get when you have to decide paying for less or eating. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the difference is that what it comes down to is respect.
Yeah.
You know, artists don't respect each other here either. They don't talk with each other. They don't look out for each other. They don't. And I say this because I've been around so many different energies, so many artists, so many entertainers, and I hear a piece from each, you know, each studio, each session, each group talk, and there's so many different miscommunication. There's miscommunication, there are assumptions, and I just feel like we just need to talk. Everyone has the same problem, you know. Everyone thinks their problem is bigger than this. But everyone has the same problem. We just need to sit down and talk and go forward. You know, we can't go forward separately, individually. We have to go forward as a unit, together. So the powers that are out there, see that we're coming together as one, you know? So yeah, I would say the biggest difference is respect. The way they respect artists, the way they look at us, the way they see us, and it not happening in Barbados.
So at times, do you feel because you're a backing vocalist that you have become an accessory?
Yes, please, without a doubt. I've been in sessions where the producers literally have to stop the session and turn to the artists and say, yo, is this going to be you featuring Rochelle? Because Rochelle is all over this song. Yes, I've been in situations where people use me as a prop, you know, and I've had to cut it down a bit because I think I had to blame myself. Because people were telling me about it, you know. People say, Rochelle, you know, people are starting to use you as a prop. I found over the last few years, I've had to cut it down somewhat. But I've been working on it because I want to do this for a long time. You know, I don't want anybody to say, oh, I tired of Rochelle voice now. No. So I'm now doing a whole rebrand kind of thing. So look out for that. But yes, I don't mind being a person. I don't mind people depending on my voice for something though, okay? So let me just say that. I don't mind being that body for someone, you know? Hence the rebranding now. Because now I have to look at it. I have to go deeper now. Say, okay, Ro, people are looking to you for something deeper and more than a backing vocal. They're looking for you to more than do backgrounds now. They're looking for something else. So now I'm gonna be rebranding, guys. So look out for that. You're gonna get more of Rochelle. Yeah, you're gonna get more Rochelle, but in different ways. And Rochelle, COVID has done so much. COVID has pushed Rochelle out of her comfort zone.
That's good.
Very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. Like sometimes I go and I do things with so much anxiety, but in my head I'm like, Ro, is this you not wanting to do it? Is this you being lazy? Is this you being certain you don't want to do something? And I sit with myself and I'm like, Ro, and I start to take things off. No, you being lazy, go and do it, you know? And
laziness is just, to me, just like fear.
Yeah,
like fear,
it is.
Fear of failure.
Sometimes I have a whole day of sessions, and when I get home, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want the noise. I don't want the TV. I don't want to hear the auntie. I don't want anything, you know, because all right, like the other day I did a rhythm, you know, I did a rhythm, and you know, rhythms, they have like 3, 4, 5 songs on a rhythm. And I had to do backing vocals for all the songs on the rhythm. Now, a rhythm is the same music. So I had to come up with something fresh with the same music about 4 or 5 times.
Yikes. When
I was done. Like, but sometimes I get so tired. And I guess a lot of people don't understand it unless you're in the field. But it's what I do for a living, you know. It's my talent that I have to use every second of the day. When I go to do my work, I respect the persons. I respect their work. I respect the work that's presented to me. I respect the artists. I respect all of the artists. I give them the same amount of energy, the same amount of passion that I would give each song. But it gets pretty tiring at the end of the day, man. It does. And then I feel really pressured because people request me all the time.
That's a good sign.
So it's a good sign, but then people request you because you're good at what you do, so you have to show them why you're being requested all the time, you know?
Fair.
So then I always have to bring my A game. So when I come out of the booth and I see the artist's face, or I hear the song after I finish my vocals and everything, all of that goes away. Like the pressure, the feeling of, okay, you have to do this here correct role, because people are, like, when I'm in the studio, Keisha, artists, oh gosh, if you're not watching this, you don't have to change it, all right? But like, I prefer when artists aren't there. I prefer if it's just me and the producer, because when you call me to do a job, like you call me, you leave it in my hands.
Okay.
Right? But sometimes the artist would come, you know, like they don't have a clue what they want on the song, right? And then as soon as you start, you know, like they pick everything, and I'm okay with that, right? But then that stops my creativity.
Yeah.
You know, like you trust me, I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
I got you.
You are also known for helping younger people get into the booth as well. Who are some of these people, young people that we may have known throughout the years, or if there are any new people right now?
I don't know if you know this, but when I think I was 19, like I was the youngest vocal tutor the NCF had at the time.
Oh, wow.
We did a program for troubled youth. We did singing, we did drama, we did acting. I think they did like electrical, something. It was a whole set of different programs.
Okay.
Nala was a part of it. He did the drama. Shout out to Nala. I met Nala back then. Nala was so encouraging because he saw... I was so scared. Again, I came into this not knowing, you know, and I had to deal with so many different personalities and deal with... It was so much. They left not so ideal situations, you know. They didn't come from the ideal homes, you know. They were troublemakers at school. I loved when I would show them a better way of doing something, a better way of dealing with the situation, a better way of handling situationships, I would say, you know. Just it really brought so much joy to know that I was making someone else's life better. And I didn't stop. I continued from there. I did another program with the NCF along the same lines. I met a whole number of artists. SK was one of my students back then. Okay. So SK knew me from way back. SK would always tell people I used to be in class. That was not true. That was not true. SK was not my best student in terms of behavior, so he had a lot coming. But we would always butt heads, but they always respected me, you know, because I always listened to them. I respected them. I listened to them. Fully listened to them. That's when I started my vocal classes. I was like, Ro, you like teaching, you know. I had some knowledge about it, and I was like, Ro, you know, just start it. You know what you're doing. You have experience. So then I started. That's when RG Beginner's voice class was birthed. I started officially teaching my vocal classes from like 20. Okay. And I'm still doing it to this day. So, you know, there was this whole controversy with the whole Trojan rhythm thing. The artists that were on the rhythm, you know, and I was mixed. I only spoke on social media about one side of it, you know, because I don't like to, unless you're in front of me, I don't like to have certain conversations. Yeah. There's so many misunderstandings again.
Yeah, because what you read sometimes isn't
exactly
digested how
so
you
unless
want.
You're in front of me, you know, I don't like to discuss certain things. So there's something that was happening about this situation that kept rubbing me the wrong way. You know, people were condemning the artist, people were attacking the artist, and I do get the sensitivity of it all. Trust, I do get it, right? But it ain't the artist's fault. And I'm gonna and a lot of people may not agree with this. It's not the artist's fault, you know. I feel like those artists can be used in so many different ways. I had a potential vocal student that reached out to me, and he wanted to do vocal training. He was very honest with me. He was like, yo, he reached out to me. Yo, sister, I got your number from so-and-so. I want to do some voice training. I was like, okay, send me your email address. Very polite. I'll send all the information to you. So when I sent all the information, he called me, yo, sister, I got any message. So he called me. He was like, yo, like, you know, I be looking at to these men, like Chief Den, or all these men are brutal, and I want to be like them, you know? I want to change my life. I want to do music. I want to be like them, man. All right. Use those guys, go in the communities that they're accustomed, they're familiar with, and let them do something, you know? Sit down and talk with them. Sit down and talk. There's a connection missing between the artists. There's a connection missing between the youth. There's a connection missing between the powers that may be. Yeah. You know, and I feel like if everyone sit and they talk together and they talk with each other and not at each other, they're gonna understand so many different things. You know, I grew up in Pine and it wasn't the best area to grow up in. Yeah. You know, I used to hear shootouts ringing from morning to night. Yeah. You know, normal. I would hear sounds on it, like these like little children coming up here with these. This has been around for so long, and this is not me saying, oh, because it was around for so long, that don't mean that we shouldn't discuss it. You know,
we had a radio forum. We opened up our radio show a couple Saturdays ago to anybody who was calling in about the same situation. And I remember Rochelle Griffith, big up yourself. She called in and she made a very vital point that it shook me. She says, you know, it's actually more expensive to try to get a community center than it is to get into the studio. And I was like, what?
Yep.
I was ignorant to that fact, you know what I mean? So even trying to say, yeah, go and talk to them as well. The powers that be also have to, as you rightfully said, listen.
They need to listen.
And look at all of these holes that are happening.
The holes, they can be filled. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely.
So I've been on both sides of the spectrum. Like I said, my grandmother lived in the Pine area. So me and my sister, we grew up in the Pine with my other cousins. But we also grew up in another area, you know, that was pretty different to the Pine.
Yeah.
So I have both sides of the coin, I should say. But I think there's so many different things that people can do. They just need to sit and talk with the youth. And it can't start from when you finish secondary school. It can't start from community college. It can't start from when start from going to the schools, introduce programs from primary school. There's this young guy, Joshua, doing the dog on the internet right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very honest with you, right? My niece sits and she would go on YouTube and she would watch these whole set of different young children in her age group, 7, 8, 9, 10, doing the most, having millions of followers, millions of views, making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
When that little guy goes on YouTube and when he does that, what's gonna happen, huh? When he posts his stuff on Instagram, what's gonna happen from there? Why isn't there something in place that we can be, that our artists, our young guys like him, they're artists like him, Zingha, I'm like, when you get a chance, go on YouTube and you're gonna see thousands of children his age making thousands of millions of dollars. Why it can't happen for him? Why it can't happen to the other artists that are trying to build their brand on YouTube now, that have the followers but they can't make the money because we don't have something in place that can monetize it, you know? And other artists have to use third parties in order to receive money. We shouldn't have to be doing that. We shouldn't have to be going and outsourcing different things and using third parties to get money for our talents, you know? Something should be in place for that. And when I met Joshua for the first, Joshua actually recorded me. I had a session with Joshua and Darian was like, yo, you want to record Roche? He was like, yeah, man. So he started recording me and I felt good, Keisha, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt so good, but then I felt so bad about it. I'm like, okay,
what happens next?
What happens next? When I see my niece watching this stuff on YouTube, I'm like,
wow.
What? Wow. Like millions of followers, millions of viewers, and they're receiving money when the month comes and they're good, you know? Well, here, artists are really struggling to get subscribers on YouTube. Every day you begging people to follow you. You shouldn't have to be doing that, you know?
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time.
All right, I want to get into soca.
Okay.
Because
You singing songs?
I could do my interview. I could do it. I could do it without you like coming in all the time. So there is a lot of conversation about soca artists in general, but more so soca artists, that you can't be a different type of artist unless it's soca. You can only be successful if you're doing soca in Barbados. Do you think that is true?
No, I just think that people don't support music here in general.
Okay.
Because there's so many. I feel like right now there are more genres out there than there are more artists doing other genres than artists doing soca right now. But people just ain't tuning in. People aren't paying attention to the artists out there, and I feel until that changes, then, well, yes, then to your question, you know, unless people really take it serious and people tune into the other genres that we have, then maybe it won't. You know, maybe soca may be the only thing that will get our artists far here, known here. I think that people aren't tuning in to the other artists, the other people that are making other genres out there. And they're all genres. There are Bajan artists here with rock artists here, plenty rap artists here, plenty hip hop artists here. So many R&B, soul. You know, there's so many different. My boy Andre just did a whole album that isn't soca. You know, like, yes, you can. I just feel like people aren't. We just need the support, and I feel until we have that, you know. If you can imagine a video of an artist here, Chris Irie does the most, you know? Right?
Lee Phillips as well started out as a jazz singer.
So you can imagine if all of them just start, right? You can imagine if everybody just shared their song on Facebook share everybody on all of their followers, everybody that's their friend on Facebook or Instagram, share their post, and then somebody from the outside see their post and then share it.
Yeah.
It can happen.
It don't cost nothing.
It don't cost nothing. It just, again, people just not tuning into the other genres. And maybe there's so many different things to blame for that. Then people want to do shows about Bajan music. What are they going to play? They're going to play soca.
Yeah.
And they have an audience reaching all over the place. They're tuning in, but what are they going to hear? The soca. Yeah. You know, and when they hear soca, if they're going to do outside of soca, they're going to play artists from way back when.
Yeah. Maybe
are people aware that there's so many different genres out here from Barbadians? Are people aware of that? Are the powers are they making people aware of it? Are they doing stuff to make people, yo, we got a whole R&B set of artists here though.
Yeah,
we got a whole set of artists here doing soul, neo soul here though. We got a whole set of artists doing reggae here though. Way more people know about it. It's just that's not the artists that are marketing themselves, and we can only do so much. They can only do so much. And there are artists that are trying, that wake up every day and treat it like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
There are artists that doing, they're creatives doing that, they're dancers doing that, they're everybody in the arts. There are people that are treating it like a 9 to 5, but there's only so much that they can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Is it also a case of maybe they have heard some of these artists and some of these songs, but it has gotten to a point where it's like, oh, that's a Bajan song. But then if somebody scooped it up, like Rihanna, for example, probably has it on a playlist. She's doing her Fenty makeup, and she uses a song by the same Lee Phillips, I'll use because we mentioned her earlier, and she's doing a jazz song, and then Lee blows up because Rihanna posted it. Oh my gosh, Lee Phillips, da 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 da.
I would say both. Because there are artists here that when they come in a really good song, they get the forward. Like they get the forward, but then what happens after, you know? Again, I feel like the powers, people in charge, they can do so much more. They can do so much more. Because again, you know artists that wake up every day that treat it like a 9 to 5. You know artists that put their all into this, you know? There are people, okay, my cousin invited me to a dub. You know, I accustomed going to dubs and thing. It was, Rochelle is a vibe, right?
Yeah.
So I remember going and everybody was chilling and the DJ started playing Bajan dancehall like for like 45 minutes to an hour. And Zingha, I didn't know none of these songs. But everybody don't they get to know real bad.
Bajan
singing word for word.
Yep.
Singing word for word, you know, but then it stops there.
Yeah.
What happens after? Because certain people in power may not think that this is the ideal music that should be pushed. You got a whole backing though. These people got backative. You know what I mean? Like, these people got a whole community that ready to push them.
You got a whole market ready.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's not only here. Like when you go online, like the same old, same lead pipe. Brutal Kank. Yota. Okay, hold on. Also, Brutal Crank Star. All these guys have been putting a lot of Bajan dancehall out there, and the Jamaicans' minds are blown. I have seen many a comment on some of these videos online on YouTube, and Jamaicans like, where they know Bajan used to get on soul.
So like I tell you, if we go again, and I'm not speaking because there's some people that may watch this and say, you know, Ro, you know, the artists maybe aren't marketing themselves enough. I ain't talking about them artists. I'm talking about the artists that put their all into it, you know. And like you said, so many Jamaican artists looking in and say, yeah, boy, we Bajan.
And they're raising it
What happened after? What happened after? Why aren't we exporting that stuff? Why aren't
they don't see the value?
You know, why aren't we honing our artists that got like these hard R&B songs, these hard songs? I just speaking all these genres. Why aren't we honing them in one place, creating something and exporting them to festivals, exporting them to different countries? People look. I sang Edmonton the time I want my contracts, right? Many people say, we want to hear something from where you're from. We want to hear. So I was like, Brad, you know Edmonton? Yes. So we start playing Edmonton and they request, like, I had an encore twice doing Edmonton.
Wow.
They loved it. They asked what it was about and I felt so proud.
To explain what it was.
Okay, here we're going on. So back in the day, right? Them to want some people to move out their place, right? I loved explaining that to them, you know? Again, I just feel like there's a disconnect with the powers, people that have the powers to do more, and the artists. When people come here, they want to get something here that they may get back home. You know, they want to get culture. They don't want to come here and experience stuff that they experience back home. You know, they want to come and experience Barbados. They want to come, go to the house, come. We could start the day at 6 o'clock. And when 12 o'clock, we still cranking.
Yeah.
Like when the whole children rhythm thing went down, I cried because the nation had the artists in the front page of the paper looking like criminals. Why y'all don't have a feature article with these same artists that had the positive songs?
Yeah.
Why y'all only pick up these artists and talk about these artists after the fact? And I saw people in the comments, these men is only singing about blah, 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 rah, rah, rah.
And that's not true.
Right? Yota, yota, yota. He was singing about how we come up in life, how we come up.
I believe in myself.
Right? You know what I mean? And people are looking at him, the same brutal, you know? Mole, Ram, Rick. They have been aspiring generations. Yeah? So when you ask an artist, okay, so what do you want to accomplish? I just want to have an impact on the world. I just want to inspire people. AKA, use me to inspire people. You come to me and use me to talk to younger people. Use the same Mole, use the same Ram, use the same Rick, use the same Chieftain, use the same Brutal. Don't just use them when it's beneficial for you, you know? Use them to help the youth in the country. From the time I was growing up and from the time I entered into the industry, the same things that I was hearing from back then, I'm still hearing now. Why? You know, I came into this industry, this is my 15th year. Yes, this is my 15th year doing this, right? And from 15 years ago, I always talk about the artist disconnecting the artist. I always heard about different hotels offering artists with payment. I always heard about people running down corporations for their money. Obviously, I need my money for bills. I need my money to go and buy food. But I don't have to tell you that. I shouldn't have to tell you that. Yeah. It should be that I did a service for you.
You have the product. You have purchased the product, used the product, right? And now the person who has given you the service has not been paid. Yeah. It's not what the product is or the service is. The point of the matter is that you've purchased it.
Exactly.
So now you have to pay for it.
I think that Keisha wants everybody work together, people listen, I think that so many things can change. Artists that doing all different kind of genres can finally be acknowledged. Put everybody together and sell this product, right? We don't want to push our artists. Say we got hard artists say that they do so much, that are so talented, you know. But what's gonna happen then after we said they're talented? What happening next? You know.
Well, my final question for you for this very meaty episode. I really liking it, and I know there's going to be a lot for you guys to digest. Down inside the comments, I want to see some good conversation. Don't talk to nobody, you know. We ain't really about that. We want conversation. But I love giving out this last question all the time. Legacy question. Okay. What is it that you want to be remembered for, or what is it that you want to leave behind?
I want when people think of Rochelle to think, when that girl heard my song and that girl put down she things on that song, I felt so good. I want people to, when people think of me, people think happy. People are joyous. People are excited to know, this girl was committed to what she loves. She gave her all into all her projects. She was an absolute joy to be around. I just want to be known as the person that brought vibes, that brought laughter, that brought enough love, that brought energy, that brought vibes. I just want to be remembered as the person that was just a beautiful soul, and everything that comes on a beautiful, Rochelle is that. And that's what I want to leave for everybody. Just want to know that I touch everybody. Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
So you can find me on Instagram, Rochie246. That's ROCHIE 246. You can also find me on Facebook. I don't know how many of us still do Facebook, but it's Rochelle Griffith. My email address for anyone interested in vocal training, you can hit me up at rcgvoice246@gmail.com. And that's what's going on. I'm frightened. DJ, was this here? No.
Do not listen to Travis.
Lord. Alright, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I feel like she's not teaching another too.
I am not.
It's going to be fun.
Okay.
I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I know what it is about.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you action.
Okay.